So we're back after lunch, and we have this all set up, so we're gonna tack these in, because we feel like we have this decently straight. We might need to adjust it a little bit, off to one side or the other, but we can do that once we get our holes and stuff drilled. We'll have plenty of adjustment. Personally, it just looks like it needs to go that way just a little bit. And then I'm going off the front hole. Oh, that just fell off. Okay. We gotta readjust it now. And then we'll tack it. So we have this partially welded in here, just kind of like halfway tacked in a bit. Now we're restraightening the axle. We set it up about a 3/8 of an inch or so. It should be pretty, it's level right now, and this is also level right now. So we should be able to figure out and set the height of the front of this, and then after we do that, we'll put our piece from here down. So Grandpa, did you determine if it's straight now? Is it straight? Okay. So we'll get our little pieces here that I talked about how we're gonna mount this by butting them up against underneath the bottom of this. So we'll tack the bottom pieces in here now.
I'll drill the holes in this first.
I don't think we'll be able to do that right now. I'd rather just, we'll be able to drill holes in here pretty easy now, because it's just going to be upside down straight. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue to drill the holes. Okay. So we'll tack these in, so we set the front of that up. And once we get these in, we can get our bottom piece in, and that'll hold it up. Because once we get, we'll cut something along the lines of this in here. I'll have to cut the end of that straight after we get these in. We'll have to take that out to cut it, so that's why I want to get this located in there nice, so we know exactly where to put it. So we have our axle part of the way in, at least. I don't remember what the last video was. I think it was us when we were preparing for the bottom part, or maybe welding those in. So these are just partially tacked in, a bunch of like bad tacks on both sides because I couldn't see anything what I was doing. So now we have that bottom piece tacked in right there. We have our top piece tacked in across. We might have to do a little bit of notching here and there for depending on how our sprocket fits in, which it's like 9.5 inches in diameter or something. So, because I could check right about now. 9 inches in diameter, I didn't realize it was that big. So that's about right there. And then 9 inches centered up on that. That should get us plenty of space to go up, but we're gonna have to probably notch the top of that to fit, which we can re-gusset it in pretty easy later. We could like cut a washer in half and use that as to re-support the notch area. So that's not too big of a deal. And then we still have to figure out what to do on the bottom too, which isn't that big of a deal. It should be quite centered. It's maybe a little bit off depending on how the camera picks it up. And it should be just about the right height. We should have plenty of clearance. So I'll tighten the bottom one and see if I can take out the spacers and see how it fits. So yeah. And then probably take it out, and then I'll weld in all the pieces good, So this actually goes down to the original shifter mount, which isn't like super beefy, but it's quite strong. Pretty strong, and I don't feel like we're gonna have very much of an issue with it, like whatsoever. Still have a few more little pieces here to take apart on the bottom of this, like I take that pedal off eventually and such. But this might work for our brake assembly, depending on how it works. Well, I'm probably just gonna use the stock pedal off of this. And then there's our little lever that we should kind of figure out exactly how it fits on here. That's just kind of on there some. So we can probably we'll probably cut part of this off so it doesn't stick out so far down. And then once we get it in, you get the bolt through or whatever that holds it together. We should be able to pretty easily bend some stuff up and situate it nicely to go somewhere. Nice thing is you can kind of spin this on here some and, you know, tighten or loosen that nut there. Now we should be able to kind of weld some stuff up better. So you can see it's really coming together nice. Spacing should be pretty good back and forth as we tried centering it nice, and we may not have quite centered it nice. So we can just drill some of these holes a little bit different and get some better we'll have plenty of adjustment back and forth for this, and then it should be quite strong too. So depending on what we do back here, because this locates the axle perfectly, this way and this way. The front's just kind of for support, and it kind of holds it from twisting right now. But the main thing that holds it from folding up into itself is going to be these. So we're going to have to really cut these kind of a goofy way probably, and then put some bolts in through the back. We might end up having to notch this at some point in time anyway to fit this. Nice thing is the wheels do spin as they sit now, which is good, because that was an issue of mine that I think we might have gotten to, but we didn't. One tire's got air, one tire doesn't have very much air in it. And I just dropped that. So now I'll probably put the bottom bolt in, and then we'll probably take it apart after that, and then yeah, and then weld some more stuff in, and then figure out how it needs to stay on the bottom. So yeah, and we'll show you the goofy sprocket, or the sprocket that we found that will probably work. So it has the right bolt pattern and the right center, and it's a normal sprocket. Well, the center's about right, and I think the hole spacing is about 1 millimeter off. So depending on what it is, it'll work or it won't. So yeah. Minnesota's Rust lawnmower bill. We'll have to figure out what we're gonna name it. And then still have our Predator. We'll have to definitely run a different exhaust at some point, because it's gonna go right into your face for whoever's driving. And this is all just mocked up still, so we have to tighten it together and stuff. But first we gotta, you know, make sure we have something to put the engine into. Hopefully by the end of the day, we'll be able to slap the old front axle on for now, just see how it looks. I don't really want to use that because everything's completely shot in it, but we might end up using it anyway. Minnesota is Rust at YouTube.com. YouTube. Shop's a mess, but you know, we're getting stuff done. Okay, so we have our axle welded up and stuff good. Completely welded. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's good. I tacked these things back together over here. Ooh. I don't think I need any more than that, because these are just kind of reinforcements, because they already wrap around here and bolt in. And that's stronger than probably just a bolt in there, anyway. Then the angle iron pieces are welded all the way. I put a tack on the shifter thing, just to keep it from flexing a little bit more. I don't think it'll do too much, but I just felt like doing it. So now we're gonna set this back in, set that back in here, and we'll get for our rear tubes, which I knobbed off. We're gonna weld this flat strap to the end of each tube, and we're gonna come back and wrap it over the top of this, so we can just go bang with a bolt each one of those. So that'll be nice. So this locates the axle. That is like a reinforcement for twisting, and then the main thing holding it from going up and down is going to be the rear ones. That should be good. It's definitely kind of crude, but you know, it works. And that's what this channel is kind of about, is do what you can with what you have, and you know, all that good rusty stuff. And we gotta we'll have to find a spot to put a Milwaukee battery in here so we can run our lights at night, you know. Probably find some LED bulbs to put those. Minnesota is rust. So we have our rear straps, rear mounting pieces tacked in. They're bolted. Their bolts are just sitting there on one side, which you hit the random pin on the floor. So now we should be able to take the axle out, weld it all up, and then put it back in for now until we get our sprocket, which is coming in a few days. And then after that, at some point in time, we might even paint it. So it's just, this is actually from the tire changer shipping, this like strap that came. So we just tack welded good on the end of those, and then bent it over on the vise some, and then just drilled a hole in each end and bolted it right to the back. So that should be good and strong there. And then got plenty of clearance on this. It spins pretty good. It doesn't quite go flat. It doesn't quite go for super long because these tires are ridiculously flat spotted, at least that one. And then there's some play in some of this right now because nothing's tight. There's like no preload on any of the bearings or anything. So yeah. So we're gonna take it apart, weld the straps on, and then we'll probably flip it back over for now. And we might mess around with the front axle some, put that one back on for now and see how ridiculous it looks. Because this is a good bit taller than the old axle was. It's actually not that much. If we put smaller tires on this, it'd be actually a lot better. So we got these ones fill the wheel wells nice though, and they're really wide and stable.